Alright, is this thing on? Good afternoon. This is Dave. This is What's Up Dave, my daily stream where I catch up with my friends on the internet, letting them know what I'm up to, catching up on projects, finding out what they're up to. And it is Friday, November 10. Let me just make sure I have sound going on here. It looks like I do. So that's great. So what are we going to talk about today? On the list over here in the chat room, I'm saying, yes, peel off nail polish. So I have this left one nail here. There's this nail, and then there's this nail. I already peeled off the other ones. So my sister's friend Sarah had been mentioning this nail polish base that she said worked really well for peeling off nail polish when you're trying out. Because ordinarily you need to like apply all this all this stuff like acetone. This is like a acetone-less nail polish remover. You gotta do all this stuff. It's a big pain in the butt. So she had recommended trying this stuff out, which is from Taiwan of all places. And it's kind of like a very weak rubber cement. And so I apply them to these three nails. And in the shower today, I just was picking at them. It's not very durable, a very durable coating. So what ends up happening is it falls. I was noticing some chips on it, so I was going, bleh. So I guess I should fix this. Again, I'm having camera focus issues because there's one of these days I'll find a camera that doesn't have that problem. Yeah, it's just focusing on the thing that has the most contrast in the scene, which is nothing. So anyway, so this nail, let's see if I can get something to happen with this. Find out. Alright, so there's that nail, right? This is really annoying. I need to invest in some better cameras, maybe. So this nail is a shiny metallic color that I happen to like a lot. And so I'm going to see if I can just start peeling it off. Well. Oh. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Whoa! And so then this rest of it's just kind of can pull off. So that was that removed super clean. It's a little bit, yeah, that was instant. That usually takes 10 minutes to do. And so I have this cool little skin, which makes me wonder if I can make these little metallic, polished samplers or something like that. So that was super exciting. Let's see if I can get this one off now. I wish this would focus. Yeah, that comes off pretty clean. Now no one's the wiser. Huh. So there's the detritus of the nail polish removal. So one downside, like I've said, it's not very durable. So if I put this hand in my pocket, my right pocket, which has all my keys in it, then the nails get messed up. In fact, this nail got screwed up. I poked myself underneath the nail, and so everything started flaking off and chipping. So I might have just go and trim these all short and just not wear this stuff for a while, just so the nails recover. So that was today's exciting. What just happened? I just lost my mouse. That was the exciting. Come on, switch. Oh, damn it! I was annoyed by my computer today. So that's what's going on with that. So what else is left to do? Oh look, the Macintosh has piled up a whole bunch of notifications on my desk and made it impossible to read. It irritates me. Everything's irritating me today. So the tasks for today, speaking of being irritated, let's take a look at those. So I'm going to pull out my ETP over here. Let's go back to aux view. Let's go split view. Not having good camera day. So, how come this is not focusing? Today is Wednesday, Thursday. Just don't have enough space on my desk. There's too much junk here. This is not... I can never find my pens anymore. So that was Wednesday. I really need to add it to this page. Let me just make some additions on this. So I'm adding some of the stuff here, like the ACA stuff, the dad newsletter. The dad newsletter was something that I made the other day. Let me show you what that looks like. Why can't I find my mouse? So let's go to screen view. This is the ridiculous new. So I made a printout yesterday, but Dad took it upstairs. He's visiting for... Oh, so I made this cheesy newsletter. It doesn't look that... It has all the elements on it, but there's a few things that I don't like the way it looks. It's pretty crude. The rules for picture spacing aren't quite the way I want them. But what I'm doing is I'm making one of these every day and just like writing up things that come to my mind that I might want to talk to Dad about or explain further. Because Dad is a little hard of hearing. And I want to make sure that he gets some of the nuances of what I'm talking about. For example, I was explaining to him how I made steak with a sear and then a finish in the oven. And I don't think he quite got what I was saying. He just heard, you put it in the oven. So and he didn't hear anything about the temperatures and says, like, I put it to 32 degrees internally using this temperature probe, blah, 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 because this is the balance between rare and medium rare that I like. And I think he just heard pink. So I just want to add some things to this. So one of the ones is... let's see, he wanted to talk about steak, and he wanted to talk about passwords. I discovered that his Chrome had synced some sort of extension that was like a search engine extension that was totally suspicious. You know, it was like intercepting all the search results and returning bad, shitty ones. So I removed that, which it tells me that his PC in Taiwan is probably... has one of those helper things installed because he clicked something that he probably shouldn't have. So I need to talk about that stuff. I think the general issue with older computer users is that they don't read the dialog boxes because the dialog boxes make no sense. They have no idea what they're talking about. And it's so easy to trick people into trusting their computers. Let's see. Steak, password... there's one more thing that we were talking about. I forgot what it was. So these are topics that I can put into the newsletter, which is, again, this thing here. So I was going to resave this as a new copy. I'm going to save this as a new edition. This is fun too because it will give me something to share with my sister. So she can kind of follow along with the visit since she's not here except on the weekends. So now we're going back to this, and I want to do the Friday one. So I guess I'll go on this page. I really should put some of the stuff away on my desk. This is very aggravating. So today is Friday. It's November 10. And I want to add some of these tasks on here. So looking at this, we want to, we need to clean up the bedroom, guest bedroom. That's because my sister's arriving tonight. It would be nice to look at the ACA stuff. And then also go to the Apple Store. Pick up some stuff for Dad. update the newsletter. Is there anything else specifically on this? It would be nice if I did the Zendesk versus Freshdesk comparison. I forget if I mentioned this, but I'm thinking about reintroducing my contact form on my website. But instead of using a regular web form for contact, what I'm thinking of doing is actually using some help desk software to help manage the flow of stuff. Because there's plenty of questions that come in about using this form, or people who might be curious about buying the form on Amazon. So I can use it as a knowledge base. And also, I think just having it outside of email, even though it should be able to handle email as well, handling it all in one place and also handling all the social media connections too. This might be a better way of managing the communications overall, because handling it on email has been a big pain in the butt. And the reason why I stopped using contact forms in the first place, I got one too many emails soliciting services that they obviously didn't read the my contact form instructions. They were obviously cold emailing spammers overseas that were trying to get me. They were telling me nothing about themselves, and they were trying to solicit me to do some sort of business with them. It just pissed me off. And it's this kind of predatory, kind of behavior. Just find it really irritating. So I was in a bad mood, and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. But I think I need to bring back the contact form in some way. And maybe so doing it this way would be nice. And if I use help desk software, eventually I could hire someone to also help manage communications for that and add another user. And we still have an efficient way of coordinating all the different activities that are going on. It's something to try. It's worth spending $7 a month for a couple months to figure out if that's worth doing. What else is going on? Oh, Courtney says she really likes ClickDesk. I'm not familiar with it, so I might have checked that out. So, to-do lists. Next thing, to-do lists. Ugh. Yes, there's a discussion going on in the chat room right now about to-do lists. Let's share this. Let's see. So yeah, I guess it started yesterday. Someone was saying something about to-do lists. Someone found an article I'd written and then popped into the chat room. Just read your article about gaining energy from positive social interactions, and I gotta say, are you me? You nailed everything on the head. Feels to be good to be around alike people, which is nice. So they found us in the chat room. But where was the thing about to-do lists? Rogers in the Netherlands. Someone must have written something earlier. To-do list. Anyway, I was just thinking that how to-do lists, they tend to unearth the perfectionist tendencies in me, where I am making the ideal list of ideally all this stuff gets done, but realistically it's probably not an attainable list. And for me, one thing that helps is making the distinction between the kinds of tasks I'm putting on the list in the first place. So it's pretty easy to be productive if you're doing tasks that you already know how to do and you know how long they take. For example, I know how long it takes to go to the post office. I know approximately how long it takes me to package up something, address it, and drop it off. It's probably the entire errand itself is probably an hour of time if I'm focused and not distracted. Whereas if I'm writing an article about something that I have to think about first, that might take an hour, it might take 4 hours, it might take a week, depending on the complexity of the project. If I am learning how to do something for the first time, it's unpredictable how long it'll take for me to do that to my satisfaction. So converting those kind of tasks into things that are more sure, like time. This is where time blocking is great. Like I will spend an hour learning how to do this, and then I will reevaluate tomorrow what I will do on this. So you have a moving target about how long you think it's going to take. So that's sane, I think, for when you're doing something creative. And then you trust in your ability to find the compromises or change the rules of the game as you go along. Now, this is something that is not, it's not first nature to me, or it's not second nature, I should say, for me to do this, because my formative work experience years were spent in technical companies where management was always trying to get you to do things as quickly as possible. And they said there was this kind of guilt that you would get, like from not like performing fast enough or being perfect the first time to go. So you want to avoid re-implementing something, but at the same time that you're implementing for the things for the first time. There was tremendous pressure to do things fast and perfect, and clients tend to reinforce that as well. They want things cheap, they want them fast, they want them good. And so like the old joke is that you can have cheap, fast, good, but you only get to pick two of those things. So anyway, breaking that mentality, and so it's like if you're doing stuff for the first time or something you've never done before, it's impossible to really be optimal about that. And beating yourself up over it because you're not optimal, or being frustrated because you can't solve all these things like in one go. It's so easy to make a list that looks good. Like you can easily make a list for like designing a perfect career or like a great business, but the hard part is just getting all those details down and finding out the things you don't know. And if you have this mentality that you should be able to, because you've written it down, because you've labeled it, that you should be able to do it, that's just bad thinking. It's hard for me to fix that. So yeah, I'm trying to get over that stuff. To-do lists, you don't want them to be a source of terror. You don't want them to be a force of oppression. So I've been trying to recast my thinking about them as these are my best guess at the time of things that might happen in a particular order. And it's going to change in an hour, or it's going to change tomorrow. And if it does, and I don't get anything off to the list, it's done its purpose. It's helped me frame the day as a series of steps and problems so I can like meaningfully engage with it. It should not be, and I know this is difficult not to do, it should not be a list of things that you should have been doing or should be able to do quickly, because that's overwhelming. I find it overwhelming. And I still find it overwhelming when I think about all the things I'm supposed to do. So I can only concentrate on a few things at a time. And so I'm looking at this list here as just things to remember. And if they don't get done in a particular order, I try not to feel too bad about it. Some things have been on this list for weeks, but I'm trying to get to them, and I'm trying not to feel bad about them, because feeling bad about them doesn't help me do it any faster, and I don't feel any better about it. So anyway, that was my thoughts on that. Finally, Groundhog Day resolutions are coming up. What are Groundhog Day resolutions? If you're not familiar with them, they are the promises I make to myself every year about making some improvements. So I can probably share that by going to my Quiver document, which is my digital notebook where I keep track of stuff. My nails look so plain and unadorned and yellow. Ugh. Anyway, so over here, the Groundhog Day resolutions. This is the last ones I wrote, October 10. I haven't reread this, but I had to work on this on the weekend, because today is the 10th, I think, right? So I need to write this tomorrow. So, did I put that down here? I need to add that to my Groundhog Day resolutions review. What did I say? I'm looking at this and I don't even want to read it. Oh, this is the one in which I revisited my progress, and I made all these directives. Looking forward, these were the two focal points. I want a website that I like using. I want to draw strength of the audacity. That's not how you spell audacity. Audacity? I hope this isn't. I spelled Audacity. Is that how you spell Audacity? No, now it looks weird. Now I can't tell if it's spelled right anymore. Is there a spelling check built into this? Look up Audacity. Okay, I did spell it right. So yeah, so I wanted to focus on making the website, and I wanted to express myself more. Those were the two specific goals. Here it is again. Did I write it twice? Huh. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the rest of the notes. This isn't the actual blog post. This is where my slush pile when I was writing things. So if I find the most recent blog post, oh, I spelled Audacity right here. Good for me. What did I say I would do? Primary website is the primary GHDR goal. I did not factor in Dad being here for November though, and what that entailed. So I might have to factor that in. I guess let me just make the new review. View number 9, November 11. I did not remember to account for Dad being here in November. And all the cleanup and prep work I had to do in the house. So I'll just remember to mention that. Figure out what my angle is later. So that's what's going on today. Later on, we're going to go to the Apple Store and pick up Dad a new phone. I'm torn between recommending the iPhone 8 Plus or the 7 Plus for Dad. What I'm worried about basically is Dad dropping the phone and it breaking. And the 8 Plus is supposed to be not very robust compared to the aluminum-backed 7 Plus. He probably would be fine with a 7 Plus. Although he would have the enjoyment of having the 8 Plus. If I got him Apple Care, I'm not sure if he could take advantage of it in Taiwan. He would have to go to Taipei and get that fixed, which would be kind of a pain in the butt for him to do. Yeah, so I'll put that into the newsletter. So I'm going to work on that next. He's taking a nap upstairs right now. So I'll have a new printout for the 8th today, and it will fill him in with what's going on, and I'll just take it from there. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. I will see you Monday. Boink. Do 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 do. Yeah. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba.